Prophet Musa's Story, with pictures by the HILAL Class, Class of Prophet Muhammad, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The Quran has stories that are not fiction of prophets that were sent to every nation. Prophet Musa was sent to the Egyptians, who enslaved his tribe with their oppression. His people were in slavery, robbed of any bravery, victims of cruel mockery, remembering a prophecy. A most evil man in charge, Fir'aun the king, forced all people to worship him, such an evil thing. One night he had a dream about a huge fire. About his dream to his wise men did he inquire. They said a boy would grow up and take his throne, so Fir'aun began killing babies from the Jews alone. After a while he started only every second year, which is why Musa to his mother was so dear. His life was in danger from the very first. His mother in her heart feared the very worst. Allah told her to put him in the river Nile. He told her Musa would come back, which made her smile. You'd think the baby basket would sail far away, but it stopped at Fir'aun's palace on that fateful day. That's where Musa would grow up, learn and thrive. Allah can rescue how He likes to keep someone alive. But when he grew strong, he did something wrong. He killed an Egyptian, and so he had to run. He asked Allah to forgive him for his mistake. No traveling supplies for his journey could he take. He stopped at last under a shady tree, and begged Allah for His never-ending mercy. Musa never could stand people being oppressed, so even though he really needed his rest, he knew that charity was the act that's best, and watered the sheep of strangers and passed that test. For a reward he married and worked there, and then later he wanted to go back home. As they traveled he saw a light burning. He went to it in a valley unknown. Musa thought he would only get some light for his family and him in the dark night, but Allah wanted to show His heart light. He told Musa to rescue his people from their plight. Prophet Musa carried with him a big stick. Allah told him throw it down, and very quick it became a snake for real, not a magic trick. That was one of the miracles Allah picked. For Prophet Musa to show Fir'aun, another was a glowing hand out of his gown. He asked if his brother Harun could come too. Allah told him that Harun will be a prophet with you. He told Fir'aun, worship the Lord of all that exists. Fir'aun said, are you people listening to this? Said Musa, your Lord and Lord of those before you. Fir'aun asked, do you take me for a simple fool? Prophet Musa said, Allah has sent me with these signs. Fir'aun said, these are just tricks on the mind. Magic and tricks and nonsense is what I see. Bring all my best magicians and sorcerers to me. We'll have a contest between Musa and my men. When it is all through, they'll never listen to him again. Prophet Musa told Fir'aun, let the children of Israel free. Stop oppression, worship Allah, and obey me. The contest began, and the magicians threw their sticks. The people were amazed by their magic tricks. But Prophet Musa's staff became a real snake, so the magicians realized their horrible mistake. They asked Allah forgiveness right in front of the Fir'aun. They weren't scared of his torture, being strung all over town. The magic contest changed the hearts of many women and men, among them Queen Asiya, happy to see Musa again. Fir'aun was getting mad, and in an act of self-love, he ordered a tower built up to the Lord above. But of course it fell, not surprising those around. Like his life and his status, it crumbled to the ground. An idea came to Fir'aun about what to do. They should kill Musa, but someone said, how can you? This relative of Fir'aun had secretly believed, another reason that Fir'aun had to grieve. He says to worship Allah, and so you take his life? Fir'aun began to lose control, first this man and then his wife. Yes, Queen Asiya became a Muslim. She knew her true Lord, no matter what the threat, rock, fire, or sword. Fir'aun and the Egyptians refused to submit, and Prophets Musa and Harun had just about had it. Allah told the rain from above to quit, but the Egyptians and Fir'aun didn't change one bit. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, we'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day. Then came a flood, water was everywhere, no food for them again, it ruined crops there. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, we'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day. Then came locusts flying, and on the ground whatever they heard was the buzzing locust sound. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, "We'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day." Then came lice in their hair and in their beds, infesting every part of life for the living and the dead. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, "We'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day." Then came frogs hopping around every place, frogs under every foot and in front of every face. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, "We'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day." Then came blood, but only for the mushrikeen. When a Jew sipped a cup, his water was fresh and clean. Fir'aun and his people said they'd let the slaves free. If Allah relieved them, they'd obey Allah, you see. But when Allah took it away, all they did was say, "We'll set our slaves Bani Israel free another day." That was when Prophet Musa cried, "O Lord, you've given Egypt all the riches in the world. Destroy all that they have and make their hearts hard. Do not allow them to believe, make their souls barred." So under cover of night they were rescued from their plight, although filled with fright, gone by morning's light. Fir'aun said, "This isn't right, not a single Jew in sight. We'll take them back by might, they cannot even fight."